The walls are rebuilt. The covenant is signed. Now comes the last glamorous but essential question. Who will actually live in Jerusalem? A city without people cannot survive, right? So then, Jerusalem is fortified, restored, and spiritually renewed. But underpopulated, living in Jerusalem means higher cost of living, greater danger, more responsibility. Most people prefer the surrounding towns. Revival requires people willing to bear long term costs, not just celebrate victories. That's interesting how Jerusalem is nowadays comparing to that. Okay, this solution, casting lots and volunteering. Nehemiah implements a fair system. 1 out of 10 families is chosen by lot to live in Jerusalem. The remaining 9 stay in other towns. But something beautiful happens. The people bless all the men who volunteer to live in Jerusalem. Some choose sacrifice freely. God honors both obedience by assignment and obedience by willingness. Okay, so then leaders led by living there. Okay, the leaders of Judah and Benjamin settle in Jerusalem first. This includes the officials, warriors, and administrators. Administrators. Okay, leadership again leads by example. Authority is credible. It's credible when leaders share the cost. So then, Jerusalem must function spiritually, not just politically, right? So the city includes priests for sacrifices, Levites for service, gatekeepers for security, singers for worship. Worship remains central to city life. God's presence defines Jerusalem more than its walls. So then, like Ezra and Nehemiah before, this chapter lists names. Why? To honor sacrifice, to ensure accountability, to show continuity with Israel's past. Okay, so it's not just random listing. And I know sometimes it might not be so good to reading it, but it is what it is. It's part of the biblical history, right? Some are described as able men leaders, those responsible for the outside work. God remembers those who quietly sustain his work. So then the chapter closes by listing towns throughout Judah and Benjamin. This shows Jerusalem is the spiritual center, but the whole land is being restored. God rebuilds both the center and the margins, right? So then, what are the key lessons from this chapter? The first one is restoration requires people, not just projects. Walls alone don't make a city. Second, fair systems protect unity. Casting lots avoids favoritism. Third lesson, voluntarily sacrifices deserves honor, right? Volunteers are publicly blessed. Fourth lesson, leaders share the burden. They move in first. Fifth lesson, worship sustain community life. Priests and singers remain central. Sixth lesson, God record faithfulness. Names are written because people matter. In Nehemiah 11, Jerusalem's restoration moves from infrastructure to population because the city is large but underpopulated. 1/10 of the people are chosen by lot to live there, while others volunteer willingly. Leaders, priests, Levites, and gatekeepers settle in the city to sustain worship and governance. The chapter emphasizes that God's work is preserved not only by rebuilding walls, but by people willing to live sacrificially in the place God has restored.